Welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Global TV News Cycle. We're in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I'm Queen Agaba. President Bola Tinubu has hinted at plans by his administration to address what he termed historical inadequacies of policy making, which had been impeded by a lack of comprehensive data in Nigeria. He regretted the lack of comprehensive data, saying it had been a technological difficulty that has hindered the growth trajectory of Nigeria and entire Africa, hampering on the ability to make informed governance decisions. President Tinubu stated this on Thursday during the 2023 Comptroller General of Customs Annual Conference at Lagos Continental Hotel, Victoria Island, Lagos. The president, who was represented at the conference by his deputy Kashim Shettima, said because data is the guiding light in the ever-evolving landscape of the modern world, Nigeria can no longer afford to function in the dark. And the First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, has urged wives of state governors to complement President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda for good governance to spread across the board. She gave the admonition while receiving the wives of governors across the nation and the FCT representatives in the presidential villa yesterday. She said leaders, especially those in opposition parties, to work with the presidential agenda in tackling issues affecting the citizenry. The First Lady lauded the wives of governors for their personal projects and initiatives in their various states to assist the vulnerable in society. Minister of Art, Culture and the Creative Economy, Hannatu Musawa, says the ministry is set to establish a national museum and a national theatre in a creative city to be located in Abuja. Musawa made this known while defending the budget of her ministry before the Senate Committee on Arts, Culture and the Creative Economy at the National Assembly. According to a statement signed by her Special Assistant on Media, Nneka Ikem, Musawa stated that the establishment of two projects are top on the list of projects of the ministry and they are intended to create jobs for Nigerians. She stated that this can only be achieved when the Senate passes the budget. In a bid to curb the menace of unregistered mining engineers, the federal government says it will process proposal for solid minerals investment from members of the Council of Nigerian Mining Engineers and Geoscientists, also called COMEG, in recognition of their critical role in the sector. Sharon Ajay reports that the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, announced the new measure to the inductees of the council, where he announced that his ministry will only attend to technical proposals for licensing and related procedures under the mining law with the seal of COMEG.
In a landmark endorsement, the minister declared that all reports coming to the ministry must bear the GOMEX stamp, while also affirming that only GOMEX-certified professionals will be recognized by the federal government, noting that these are critical elements needed in the reactivation effort of the solid minerals sector.
As from today, no mining engineer or geoscientist will be recognized by the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development without being registered by COMEG. We need to sanitize the sector, and I've said this at various fora. We not only sanitize in terms of the physicals, in terms of security of the operating environment, putting in place proper funding mechanisms. And so without COMEG registering you as a practitioner, your reports will not be recognized by the Ministry of Solid Minerals, which means by this government, which means by Nigeria.
The minister charged inductees to avail themselves of constant knowledge to keep up with new innovations, stressing that having been highly trained, the criticalities of their training will be put to bear on the success of President Bola Tinubu's vision of enabling the mining sector to play a crucial role in contributing significantly to the gross domestic product (GDP) of Nigeria. Speaking further, Alake admonished the inductees that GOMEG relies on them to shore up its reputation, whilst the ministry depends on their input to manifest the metrics of marketing the sector to global investors.
Your role in the value chain cannot be underemphasized or overemphasized either. Because you are professional engineers, you are professional geoscientists, these are very critical elements needed in the activation efforts of the solid mineral sector. So, if we do not get it right from your level, Nigeria can't get it right at the tertiary level of exploration and exploitation.
The minister, however, lauded the institution and its Director General, Professor Okpa for training qualified mining engineers and geoscientists, emphasizing that the contribution of GOMEG to the technical expertise of mining sector cannot be overemphasized. Sharon Ajay reporting for Global TV News.
The Supreme Court has set aside a judgment of the lower court that dismissed the terrorism charges against the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. The Apex Court held that the Court of Appeal was wrong in its ruling that declared that the trial court could not try him because the prosecution violated his rights. In the judgment prepared by Justice Garba Mohammed, the court condemned the invasion of Kanu's residence, declaring it irresponsible. The court held that there is no law in the country stopping a trial based on the violation of the rights of a suspect. In the meantime, the Nigerian army says it has arrested the commander of the indigenous people of Biafra's armed affiliate, the Eastern Security Network, Uchechukwu Akpa, in Augu local government area of Enugu State. The military added that 3 other suspected members of IPOB and ESN, who are Udoka Ude, Ikechukwu Lanta, and Ezenaya Ude Igewere, were also arrested. According to the military, the 4 suspects were apprehended after their hideout located at Christ the King Catholic Church in Ameta Ngbowo of Augo local government area was raided, adding that Akpa sustained a gunshot wound while attempting to flee, with 4 live cartridges also recovered from the suspect. A former governor of Anambra State in the defunct Third Republic, Chukwuemeka Ezeife, is dead. Ezeife died at the Federal Medical Center in Abuja, according to a statement issued on Friday and signed by Rob Ezeife on behalf of his family. The elder statesman died around 6 p.m. on yesterday, I beg your pardon. In a related development, President Bola Tinubu has sympathized with the Ezeife family, the people and the government of Anambra State on the passing of former governor of the state, Chukwuemeka Ezeife. Ezeife, who was governor of Anambra from 1992 to 1993, died yesterday at the Federal Medical Center, Abuja, according to a statement by the family. In a press release by the spokesperson for the president, Ajurin Gelale, on Thursday, Tinubu extolled the towering influence of the former federal permanent secretary in Nigeria's political landscape, as well as his leadership credentials, describing his passing as a painful loss. The president recalled the contributions the late Ezeife made in the shaping of public discourse and governance in Nigeria, as well as in laying the foundation for the advancement of his state. The federal government of Nigeria says stemming the causes of gender-based violence requires citizen participation at all levels. This was as it revealed on ongoing plans with states to provide mobile courts for the swift administration of justice in GBV cases nationwide. Minister of Women Affairs, Uju Kennedy Ohanenye, disclosed this at the launch of the civil society organization on Community Advancement and Humanitarian Empowerment Initiative in Abuja. She further emphasized that her call to every citizen to take up the battle against violence is due to the increase in cases of gender-based violence in our society. The National Population Commission launched the 2023 to 2024 Nigerian Demographic Health Survey and would officially begin the reconstruction of the Akwa Ibom State NPC office building for the exercise. The chairman, National Population Commission, Nasir Kwara, while performing the ceremonies, assured all that MPC would deliver a credible, reliable and acceptable population census in the country. He added that the Commission would leave no stone unturned in providing the necessary facilities for a comfortable work environment for its personnel. Rivers State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice Zacchaeus Adango has resigned. His resignation was communicated in a letter dated November 14, 2023, and addressed to Governor Siminalayi Fubara. He noted that his exit from office was based on personal principles and not connected to the political crisis for your viewing pleasure. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has announced the pre-qualification approval of the agency's Yaba Laboratory, Lagos State, as a news conference in Abuja on Thursday. She stated that the World Health Organization had recently approved the CDCL, adding that the approval of the laboratory for the agency was a significant milestone in its dedication to ensuring the safety and quality of pharmaceutical products. The new Commissioner of Police in Lagos, Adegoke Fayoade, provision of watertight security during after the Christmas and New Year celebrations in the state. Fayoade gave the assurance on Thursday while interacting with newsmen after taking over as a new CP in Lagos Command. Fayoade took over the baton of leadership from Wahida Inlara, who was the acting CP, stating that the command was going to work in synergy with other security agencies to secure all areas of Lagos through the air, land, and water. When news cycle returns, federal government says power sector cash flow grows to 900 billion naira. The news continues shortly with details of this and more stories after this break. Thank you for staying with us. This is Global Television News Prime. On the foreign scene, the court of the West African bloc ECOWAS ordered on Friday the release of Niger's deposed President Mohamed Bazoum immediately from detention, where he has been held since a July 26 coup. The court called for his immediate and unconditional release and ordered that Bazoum be reinstated. Bazoum has been held in his presidential residence with his wife and their son since he was overthrown. In mid-September, the deposed president appealed to the ECOWAS Court of Justice to obtain his release and the restoration of constitutional order in the country. Niger is currently suspended from the Economic Community of West African States. Other member states have in the past ignored rulings from the ECOWAS Court. And meanwhile, Niger's ruling military has agreed to terms and conditions of a transition back to civilian rule and will present the plan to a regional bloc. The chief diplomat from mediator Togo announced on Thursday. Speaking on Niger's national television, Togo Foreign Minister Robert Dosey says he had reached an agreement on the content and timing of the transition with Niger's junta-appointed Prime Minister Ali Mohammed Zain and Foreign Minister Bakary Sangare. The sanctions and suspension of international finance and aid have left Niger, already one of the world's poorest countries economically, hanging by a thread. South Sudan's head of the UN mission, UNMISS, Nicholas Hayson, says the country is in no position slated for December 20. Price of premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, to 750 naira per litre. The NLC's head of information, Benson, called on the government to reject the proposal of the World Bank that petrol should sell at about 750 naira per litre, as against the current rate of between 620 naira and 650 naira. Explained that the cost of PMS should be around 1,000 naira per litre, had it been that the government not subsidizing the product. The federal government has announced that the liquidity in Nigeria's power increased from 282 billion naira in 2015 to 900 billion naira currently, adding that its financial burden in the industry had been reduced by about 373 billion naira. It disclosed this through the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission at the ministerial retreat on the Integrated National Electricity Policy Strategic Implementation Policy. In a presentation at the event, the chairman, NEC, Sanusi Garba, stated that they've also created a mechanism for enforcing payment discipline in the industry. And in sports, let's now join Anthony Momodu for more updates.
Disgraceful president of Turkey Football Club Ankara Gücü was handed a lifetime ban by Turkey's Football Federation on Thursday after punching a referee following a game earlier this month. The Turkish Football Federation's disciplinary board has also ordered Ankara Gücü to play 5 home matches behind closed doors and fine the club 60,000 euros. Club boss Faruk Koka rushed onto the pitch with a group of men following Ankara Gücü's draw with Keko Rispor on Monday, throwing a punch at referee Halil Umut Mela after he had blown the final whistle. Koka, who was touted as a possible candidate for mayor of Ankara, subsequently resigned from his post, while all Turkish league matches were suspended until December 19. Koka appeared to be incensed at Mela for sending off one of his players. Howard Webb confirmed that Rebecca Walsh will be in charge of the history-making league tie as the Premier League breaks new ground. At the start of November, Walsh became the first female official to be involved with a Premier League tie when she served as the 4th official when Manchester United met Fulham at Craven Cottage. The 40-year-old began her refereeing career in 2010 while also working at an administrative job in the NHS, later turning to officiating full-time in 2019, as well as featuring regularly in the Women's Super League. Walsh has consistently broken records, becoming the first woman to referee an EFL match when she took charge of Harrogate Town versus Port Vale in the League Two in 2021. Costing £7.8 million, though the football governing body lost a key court ruling in London which strengthened its global regulations that seek to limit how much agents can be paid from deals. Agents across Europe have brought legal cases against FIFA and national soccer federations to block the rules which were intended to take off worldwide in October. The project is stalled in England, which FIFA's latest research showed still dominates the multi-billion-pound soccer player transfer market. FIFA said English clubs were the #1 spenders by a long shot in 2023, with combined spending of more than £290 million on agent commissions in transfers between two clubs in 2 different countries. Money from player transfers between 2 clubs in the same country do not count in the FIFA numbers. And talking tennis, Naomi Osaka has opened up on the difficulty of giving birth as Chime Grand Slam champion is set to make her comeback in Brisbane at the end of the month after spending a year out of the sport to give birth to her first child. Less than 6 months since she welcomed her daughter Shai into the world with her boyfriend, Osaka will return at the warm-up event for the Australian Open before taking up to the court for the big one later in January. And she prepares to do so, Osaka has lifted the lead on her experience in labor, and who won the 2009 Masters and the 2007 US Open was granted an early release in August. Cabrera, now 54, returned to action at the Alberto del Litoral Open, shooting an opening round 71 at the Rosero Golf Club in his homeland. In his first 72-hole tournament since the 2020 Bridgestone Senior Players Championship, Cabrera shot 3 birdies and 3 bogeys in his first round. And that's how we call it a wrap on the Sports News Update. I am Anthony Momo.
On sports. And that's it on Global TV